Looking for amazing products to help boost your first-class lifestyle? Then head over to firstclasslifeshop.com, where you can treat yourself to personal development books and workbooks, lifestyle affirmation cards, adult coloring books, mugs, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, leggings, and more. All products were designed to help you master your mindset, walk in your purpose, and live your first-class life because you deserve it. So treat yourself today at firstclasslifeshop.com. Again, that's firstclasslifeshop.com.
Try something else. Don't change the goal, change the method. A lot of times people get that first road bump, or they get rejected, or they get something, or whatever it is that's very discouraging, and they give up the whole thing. No. You don't do that. Just like you wouldn't do that for your company. You would try 15 different methods for someone else's company and whatever. You're going to have to do that for your own stuff. When you hit that road bump, keep pushing, change the method.
You're listening to the First Class Life Show, hosted by Lindsay Vertner, a holistic personal development show for high-achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So grab a drink, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Hey, people. Welcome to another episode of the First Class Life Show with your host, Lindsay Vertner. That is me. And I'm here with an awesome, beautiful guest by the name of Holly Cotton. I've had the opportunity to meet her in real life outside of these virtual streets, and I know that y'all will love her just as much as I do. So you already know how we do, because we are high-achieving leaders. We don't have time to waste. We have to maximize our impact, and we have to create our life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So we're going to hop right into the discussion. Hey, Holly, welcome to the First Class Life Studios.
Hi.
So excited to have you here. Now, I know how awesome you are. I need you to tell the First Class family, who is Holly Cotton really? Like, peel back the curtains, let us in, give us the good tea on who is Holly.
Hi. Okay. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for having me on your show. So Holly Cotton is an onion. I just watched The Blind Side the other day, so I'm going to refer to myself as an onion. But basically, I have been a nurse for 20 years, and probably 9.5 years now, I was diagnosed with cancer. And that pretty much was the defining point of these new layers of Holly Cotton, because I was just going on with life. I was a mom, I was a nurse, I was just doing my whole thing. I really didn't know what my plans were. And after cancer, and you're faced with that life-changing, like, you could die, and what are you going to leave as your legacy? What are you going to be known for? Was kind of like a wake-up call for me, because I said, basically nothing. Like, what have I done? So I went through my whole process of recovery and all of that, and that probably took about 1.5 years to really recover from that whole cancer scare. Thank goodness I'm still alive. But just being a mom, being a woman, going through, all of these challenges, I kind of just started going into physical fitness, which I tell everyone that when I was going through surgery, I was the weakest I've ever been in my life. Like, I couldn't even put my hair in a ponytail. I couldn't reach to shave my legs because of all the surgeries, reconstruction, all of that stuff. So I vowed that when I was able to start getting my life together again, I was getting it together, and I was going to become the strongest person ever. And so that kind of just started this whole spiral down. 1, getting into fitness. 2, I wrote a book called Strong is More Than Muscles. And basically, I just started going down this path. I developed a company called Strong Squad, which has done really, really well. So I have entrepreneurship under my wing as well. And I recently started working with Ebony Publishing, which is Ebony Magazine. And I am now a podcast host of Beyond the Fit for that. So I'm also able to share all my journeys, all of this motivation, all of these things that I've learned from being an author, a mom, a survivor, life survivor, into fitness, all these great things. So that's pretty much me right now. It's a lot and I is tired.
Listen, but I love that you point out all of the layers. It's so funny because I was speaking with another guest recently, and she was saying that, I don't have a lane, I have a life. Shout out to Trey Kearney. And we were just talking about all the different facets that make up a single person and, being that rooted tree in your values, but then having the different branches of all the different things that you've experienced in your life or overcame in your life. So I'm glad that you pointed that out. And so I wanted to ask you about all of your different roles, because being in the nursing background and then being diagnosed with cancer, did you have any sort of identity crisis or anything like that? Because here you are caring for people and then you have to completely flip roles and allow somebody else to care for you.
Actually, I didn't, because I'm a realist. So I've always been I was only a floor nurse for probably about 6 or 7 years, and everything else I've always been in management from there on. So I was always the director that was there with people when they were end of life. I was always the one telling my nurses, like, hey, respect their privacy, respect the end of life, whatever. And I've seen just so much trauma in my 20 plus years of nursing. So when I felt the lump, I already diagnosed myself with cancer. Like, I was already like, oh my God, it's cancer. And everybody was like, no, like, listen. And I'm like, no, I know it's cancer. So I had already mentally prepared myself. And I think the thing that I struggled with was to take back all of the knowledge that I had and allow people to treat me like a patient, because I would just have to let people, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And okay, when I already knew what was going on. So it was more of that instead of instead of an identity crisis of being a patient, it was me just learning to just allow people to take care of me, because that was something I really struggled. Even now, like when I go into the hospital, I never tell people I'm a nurse. Like, people just think I'm this Instagram person, or they don't, or I like to work out. I'm like, boo, I have a master's in nursing. Like, don't try to talk to me crazy. I know a lot of facts. So that was kind of the struggle, instead of, that part was just allowing them to take care of me without kind of telling them you're doing it wrong, or that's not how I would do it. So it was more of that rather than, I guess, submitting is the word I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about that a little bit more, because I know as leaders, and especially as high achieving leaders, that is a big struggle for all of us in any sense, just allowing other people to help us. So what were some of those things that you really had to focus on, whether you had to be more intentional or more disciplined, but what were some of those things that you really had to focus on to allow yourself to do that?
Honestly, I was going through a really rocky marriage at the time as well. And so I already had a lot of things there. My kids were younger because, my daughter's about to graduate high school now, but they were young then, so I think second and fifth or sixth grade, something like that. So they were little. And it was very hard for me because finally I actually had gotten into a network of cancer patients, and that was really helpful because we all kind of were going through the same thing. And now I'm that support person for new cancer patients, but I had to accept that it was okay to allow myself to heal. And I felt like, especially being a nurse, being an alpha female, just I'm all being a boss, I'm always all right, let's go. I don't have time to be sick. I don't have time to heal. I don't have time for this. And it was just that realization where I basically was okay, I have to allow myself to heal, and I have to figure out how to do that. So you know what? Hey, you need to take care of your kids a little bit better because I'm getting worn out right now. Asking my dad, just not taking on multiple projects, telling my job, listen, I know I look great on the outside. I'm out here kicking, but I literally cannot move my arms. I cannot do anything. So it was just coming up with that acceptance of how I just needed to, it was okay. And I needed to just allow myself the forgiveness of thinking I had to do everything and just allow that healing. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people, especially when we go through something traumatic and we do have other parts and pieces and people in our lives, especially being a mom, like we never allow that healing to fully happen. And then we're all jacked up and mentally, physically, everything. So I guess that's more of what my answer would be for that one.
Yeah, that is so true that we have to allow that healing, because when we don't, what happens is that we put ourselves back out there and we end up doing more damage because we weren't fully healed from whether physical or emotional.
That's what I was
like. It's in all the ways.
Yeah, and people just think because you start looking right physically, or you like, or I mean, same thing with you, like your scar, you have scars instead of open wounds. Like people feel like, oh, okay, well she's no, I'm not. I'm still healing. So, and it's the trauma, like it's PTSD that just never goes away, especially being a cancer survivor. Like every year, I'm like, oh my God, is this year I'm going to go get re-diagnosed? Is this my 5 year? Is this my 10 year? So it's just something that's very traumatic, and you have to be able to process those feelings and not feel guilty for having those moments where you are soft or weak or humble.
Yeah, that's good. And then thinking about that, asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength, and allowing people to help you in those moments is very important in whatever area that it is that you are needing that help. Because like we said, you can end up doing more damage in the long run. And what happens is life will knock you down when you least expect it, and usually at the most inconsiderate of times, right? And so it's important to take that rest while we can and be proactive about that rest versus having it forced up on us.
Right.
Girl, so many different things going on with just being a survivor and having those physical issues to just hopping up on your life. So I know in your case, you had the educational background as far as, what it looks like, and you were able to prepare yourself mentally. And this was something physical that happened to your body. But let's talk a little bit about the emotional journey of it. I know with me specifically, like you said, the scars came and the body looked healed on the outside. But there were things going on internally that maybe wasn't obvious with the eye, and then emotionally that took miles longer to recover from than the physical piece of it. So tell us about your emotional journey as you were healing and recovering.
Honestly, it's just an ongoing process. So like I said, every year we have to get tested and, I get labs and all of these things done, but not even just that. Like, I just feel like the person that I am 9 years later is not even a reflection of cancer. Like, I feel like for me, that was just a wake up call. And I needed to have some type of direction because, like I said, I was one, allowing a lot of things that I shouldn't have with, my ex's family. It was just so much turmoil in my life. When I think about it now, I'm like, who was that person? Because this person today is not taking that. So it definitely gave me the perspective of life is short, and I am not tolerating anything that does not make me happy. Like, of course, there's things that are going to come. Of course, there's things that are, going to stress you out. But as far as a day to day, the same thing stressing me out is not happening. So I think that was a key thing too, because people, like, when people are around me, they're like, they see me on social media or whatever, and they're like, she can't be this happy. She can't always be this laughing and whatever. But around me, and you've been around me, like, I'm going to have a good time. Like, I am such at peace. And I actually had a conversation with someone this weekend about that too. And I was saying how, like, a lot of women have all of this stuff and they get so stressed out and they're angry, and it's so hard for us to just embrace a moment because we have all these feelings. And not me. I'm all like, I'm telling you, like, and it's just an intentional decision every day to say, I'm not going to allow these things to hurt me. I'm not going to allow these things to take my happiness away. I might get stressed out, but I'm going to deal with it and I'm moving on. It's not going to be a day-to-day thing. So I think that's my mindset. Like, I ain't taking it and I ain't doing it and it ain't me. Anybody else roll with it, but not me. I almost died. You think I'm about to spend the rest of my life upset? No.
Exactly. It really does change your perspective on things. And I love that you mentioned it's an intentional decision because I always say that, it takes the same amount of energy to be miserable as it does to be happy. So choose one and choose wisely because either way you're exerting that energy. It's like, well, if I'm going to be doing something, I might as well try to make it a happy something as much as I can. Yes, there are outside forces, but I can only control my reaction to those outside forces. And so thinking about intentional decisions, it's like you have to make the choice each and every day to say, all right, I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be joyful today. And that doesn't mean, like you said, that things won't come along. But when you set that intention in the beginning, then it helps you to stay on track. Like you recognize those moments a lot easier. Like, wait a minute. I see you with your nasty attitude and I'm not about to let your funkiness affect my happiness. And so I'm going to let you have your funk party by yourself.
Well, and that's the thing, like energy attracts energy. Like they say, misery loves company. But when you walk in the room and you're in a good mood, even if someone's in a bad mood, like you're not going to be around me and feel like crap after. Like we're going to laugh, we're going to tell jokes, we're going to talk about stuff. We might talk about serious stuff or whatever, but like it's an energy that you have that's contagious. So I never want to walk in a room and my energy is negative and everybody's like, oh, she just came here with a bad mood. Like I love that. And I feel like I'm always attracted to people that have similar energies, similar things. So I think it's just about how you go out in the world. And that's why there's all those videos all the time where people do something nice and then the person is like, oh, now I'm gonna do something nice too, so it's just that, like, what are you going to be remembered for? What do you want to be your reputation? Like when I walk out the room, I want people to be like, that was a cool girl, I liked her. Thank God she's gone with all that mojo up in here.
Yes, that is so true because I'm sure everybody listening can think of somebody on both sides, like that person that they just like, oh man, such and such gonna be there. I don't know if I want to come because they are always just a drag, killing the vibe. Or that person that is going to be like, ooh, such and such gonna be there. I'm there. Like they always make me happy, bring the fun. And so just deciding like which such and such person do you want to be, right?
Exactly.
Listen, like attracts like, okay? And the energy you put out is the energy you are going to attract back. So very important to recognize. And how about a little game?
Oh, okay, yeah. Great. I love games.
Let me pull out my handy dandy timer here. All right. So it's a really easy game. I call it First Class Favorites. All you have to do is fill in the blank with your favorite insert category that I mentioned. Sounds simple, right?
Okay.
You only got 10 seconds though, okay? Now, I know you are a fitness coach, so if you miss the buzzer, we won't make everybody take a shot. We won't make them take a shot today. If you miss the buzzer, everybody has to do an extra push-up or an extra
5 jumping jacks.
There we go. You got to do 5 jumping jacks if the lovely Holly Cotton misses the buzzer. Okay? So we'll start off with something easy. What is your favorite food specifically? Go. Pizza. That was easy. And see, pizza is mine as well. I feel like there's so many different varieties of pizza. You could eat pizza every single day and have a different
dish, veggie, supreme, pepperoni, cheese sticks. Yeah. Anyway, pizza.
Homemade versus Pizza Hut versus Papa John's versus the local pizzeria. All different. So, what is your favorite drink? Go.
I love Coke Zero. It's my favorite drink.
Coke Zero. Okay, okay, okay. I'm not a Coke or
I
Pepsi
know. I
drinker.
drink a gallon of water every day. So whenever I have a meal, like I'm so tired of water. Like I'm more water, because I've been drinking water all day. So if I don't have a sparkling ice or anything, or if a restaurant, if I'm having a burger or a pizza, it doesn't go right with water. I need a good cold Coke Zero to like burn my throat up.
Listen, speaking of a gallon of water, I just cannot get there. Like, I do good to just have a couple of 16
You
ounce
gotta
bottles
start as
of
soon
water.
as you wake up,
If
and you
that,
gotta drink all day long. See, like this is part of my gallon. I'm a little bit less than halfway done, and it's 2 o'clock, so I'll definitely be done. But as soon as I wake up, I'm already.
it's the pen for me. It's the pen.
All day long is drink, use the bathroom, drink, use the bathroom, drink all day. Or I'm like, ooh, don't get in traffic because I gotta go.
I remember one time, we're going off on an aside here, but I remember one time I was traveling and it was like a longer road trip and I was stuck in like bumper to bumper traffic. I don't remember where I was going, but I just remember I had to pee so bad and traffic was not moving and like it had already been like 30 minutes and I had barely moved a couple inches and I was like, I can't hold this anymore. And I was so happy that I had a bottle of water in my car. And so I dumped that water out the window and I dropped trowel right in the car. I mean, we weren't moving. So the car, I was put it in park and I peed in that water bottle. I felt so relieved. And I also keep wipes in my car. So
There you go.
I can go back to business as usual.
You gotta go, girl. You gotta go.
Oh, good. Are you loving the First Class Live show? Then join our private Patreon community. Not only will you help to support our ability to provide you with great content, but you can also get exclusive perks like bonus videos and resources, discounts, episode transcripts, and more. So what are you waiting for? Join today at patreon.com/First Class Life. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/First Class Life. Okay, so what is your favorite book, title, and author?
Well, of course, me, strong, more than muscles, Holly Cotton. But no, I mean, honestly, I love the last book that I really, really enjoyed was Michelle Obama's book. And I mean, I read so many self-help books, so I really don't have a favorite because I feel like I'm always able to excerpt certain little parts of each book, and they always have like some type of hidden gem. But I really don't have a favorite per se. Like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like, stuff like that, like things that have like basically like changed my whole mindset. But of course, I'm going to have to be privy to this author that I know personally who has 2 books, Strong, More Than Muscles and Day One.
Hey, that be Holly Cotton, okay?
Available on all platforms.
That part. What is your favorite song, artist, and title?
Ooh, so I am a big, so my family is very, very mixed. So I am a big country fan. I love 80s rock. So I also love like a lot of stuff. Like I love, like I like Beautiful Crazy by Luke Combs right now. That's one of my favorites. And then I love like all of Bon Jovi's old songs, like from the 80s, like Always. And I love Journey, but I love a lot of like old, like stuff that I can like rap, like the 80s rap, like, like, oh my God, I can't think of, like Digital Underground. Like anything I can sing like all the words to, like I love that kind of stuff. Like Doc, just all like any of those old songs like where Rakim, where I could just be like, stuff like that. So, yeah, so, that's it. Did I make it in the buzzer? Because I gave like 12
You didn't. So 5 jumping jacks, everyone.
Nice.
If you listen in the car, you got to do it when you get stopped, okay? 5 jumping jacks. Next one. Where's your favorite place to travel specifically?
Oh, my favorite place is definitely Paris. And I loved it. And we also went to Greece, and I really love Greece also. So anything European, I love. I love beaches. I love beaches. So any type of beach as well. I loved Honduras. Was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen was Honduras. Roatan, really pretty. So yeah.
Okay, there you go. She gave you a whole list of places.
I am an avid traveler, so yeah.
Last one. What is your favorite activity to do to relax?
I love to work out to relax, honestly. Like, I know certain people think that, like, it's strenuous, but honestly, when I'm having a rough day or whenever I feel like crap or when I just don't feel like it, like, I'm going to work out and then, that makes me feel better. Like, I don't know, lifting something heavy, coming up with, like, it just, whenever I'm like in the gym, I'm so focused on rep count and form, it makes whatever it is that made me have a bad day go away. Like, if I try to go and get a massage and I'm having a bad day or I'm like stressed out, all I do the whole time is think, because it's so quiet. They have like the hippie music playing and like I'm just like shut up, or like just anything spa related, anything that seems relaxing to a normal person, it will not shut my brain off and I will just overthink it. So I have to do something that makes me just forget everything. And even eating something that doesn't really help, because then now I overthink, well, why did I eat 5 cookies when I should have just, like, so I'm thinking about those mixed emotions. So definitely exercising for me, like a real gutter, like straight go sweat and ponytail to the side. That's when I'm had a good, like, it just relaxes me. Yeah, like my whole bun will be to the side. That's when I was getting it.
I love that you said that, because I think that's the perfect illustration of how I'm going to add to that, which is defining what life looks like for you, whether that's your self-care, your relaxation, just life in general, defining your success, defining all of the things and what works for you, not based on somebody else. Because how you were like, ooh, working out relaxes me and I love it. I'm like, I cringe with the workout. I'm like, I gotta get the energy to motivate myself to work out before I even start working out. And I still, more often than not, don't make it anywhere to work out. But then on the flip side, I love massages and spa experiences. And if I'm having a stressful day, then those like take me away from the stress for the moment. And it's like, I can just relax. And yes, I might be thinking about something, but more often than not, I'm thinking about like, ooh, this feels so good. And ooh, that smells so nice. And I can just turn off my brain and do nothing while I'm here. So it's important to define your success.
Correct.
What tips would you give to the leaders out there on ways that they can begin to define their success or their life or whatever it is that they need to define within themselves?
So I guess the first tip that I always give people is look at your proximity. Look at who has access to you. Look who you're talking to. Look who's in your circle. And that's going to be kind of like definitive about how far you're going to go with your goals. Because if you're talking to people and they aren't breathing the life that you need into your goals, if you have an idea and they're like, I don't know, or, you sure you want to do that? Like, you already are starting with doubt and just a negative mindset. So one, that's super important, is who you have that's close to you that you're able to share your goals with. Like I have friends and I'm like, I'm going to do this such and such. And they're like, oh my God, okay, we know you going to do it though. Like, don't doubt me. Let me go till failure. If I fail, fine. At least I tried. And the other thing that I think that it's kind of like everyone talks about your mindset, and basically what that mindset means is the discipline that it takes to be structured. Because there's days where you can get so caught up on social media or things going on at work or kids or whatever. And like I always say, even on my show, is that you have to make yourself a priority. And that is a daily decision that you have to do. And that's called discipline. You can have motivation, but motivation only gets you so far. Like I could be like, you know what? I feel motivated. You know what? I'm going to go to the gym today. And if I don't go, if I get distracted, if I start working now at 7:00 at night and I didn't go, that's the lack of discipline. So you have to also have discipline in your mindset in order to be successful. And that's where we fall off because, you're like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start working on a business idea and I'm going to make it work and I'm going to do it. And you might even make some notes in your phone or on your notepad or whatever. You have it. You're motivated. But what happens that's going to define you the next day is that mindset of discipline. And if you don't have that discipline, it ain't happening.
Yeah, discipline is so important in all the different ways. And so we have to think about, what do we want more? I remember I was doing a Clubhouse room some months ago, and I think somebody had asked me about like, why do you think most people fall off from achieving their goals or something like that? I can't remember the exact question, but I remember my answer was something along the lines of, can I have a moment to just keep it real with you? And she said yes. And I was like, all I'm hearing and everything that you just said is that you don't really want it bad enough. Period, point blank. Because at some point you have to make the decision that the things that you have right now are not what you want. And if you've already decided that you are worthy of what you want, which is a whole nother issue in and of itself, then it comes down to your discipline, being willing to do the things that you need to do or let go of the things that you need to let go of so that you can obtain what you want. So I love that you just pointed that out. How do you feel about that as far as, how can someone create that discipline within themselves, especially if they've never grew up having to be disciplined in any sort of way?
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I say the same thing. Like people, because I do talk about goals so much. I mean, I have a whole book called Day One, a guide to defining and executing your goals. So if you come to me with an idea and I see the passion, like I'm going to talk to you about your idea and I'm be like, okay, great. And once I give you like 3 steps, like I'm like, okay, great. So what's your short-term goal? What are we doing? Let's come up with a week goal, month goal, whatever, so that we can start putting stuff together for next year. And if I come in and I do a check-in with you a month later and you're just like, oh, well, or if I start telling you, okay, I love that idea. So how can we structure what we're doing now to get that in place? And they start stepping back. I already know you're not doing nothing. I just do. And it's so true. Like, and some people are content with where they are. And that's a struggle for me, being basically someone who is like, I see it, I go, I do it, I get it, I'm going, and I realize that not everyone has that drive. And unfortunately, drive is something that's internal. And I can give you all the advice in the world, but if you don't have the discipline and you don't treat yourself as a priority and you don't treat your goals the way that you should, then you're going to fail. And this is a big thing that I do too. Like whenever I tell someone, like, I'm like, hey, okay, so great. Let's do this. Let's get some kind of plan in place and get it rolling. And they start backlashing. I'm like, did you ever work a 9 to 5 job, or have you ever worked in somewhere for a company? And the answer is always yes, because we always have. I said, okay, so your boss comes to you and tells you by 5 o'clock today, you need to have this report on their desk, or you need to have this task done by today by 5 o'clock. Are you going to not have that done? And they're like, looking at me, I'm like, right. So why is it that for your goals, for things that you want to do, you don't have that same discipline and dedication for your own life, for your own, to pave the way for where you can be a year from now by putting things into place right now? So I try to use that whole mindset, like the things that you do for somebody in another company that's not even you. I need you to have that same dedication to yourself. Make yourself and your own goals a priority.
Yes, you got to, because you're the one that's waking up with you and going to bed with you every single day. That really grinds my gears when people say they want this, but they're not willing to do the work to get what it is that they want. So thank you for sharing. Now, I know that you help people with their goals as well, in fitness and their goals in general. So what are your top 3 goal setting tips, or just tips about goals?
So the first thing that I always tell people is to use the SMART process, and specific, measurable, achievable, related to what you're doing, and time oriented. So I'm like, hey, first make me a SMART goal and let's roll from there. And what is it that you want to do? And one of the big things, I'll just give like a fitness goal. People always are like, oh my God, I need to lose 20 pounds. Okay, that's not a goal. That's a want. That's something that's just out there. That's just something that you're like, oh, I want, that's not a goal. So for anything, you need to be specific, and you need to have some type of check-ins, and you need to be very time oriented. So if I say that I'm going to do something, then I need to, okay, so by Friday at this time, I'll have done such and such. And I think that people forget that. Like, yes, you have a goal. Okay, well, no, it's right here. I wrote it down right here. It's written down. It doesn't matter that it's written down. It doesn't matter that it's a screensaver on your phone. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you're doing on a daily basis to achieve that short-term goal. Then have another goal for 3 months, have a goal from a year from now. Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to have some type of structured goal and process. And I think that's the big thing. And like I always say, everyone has this dream in their head. Like, oh my God, I want to do this. I have this great dream. And you're like, yeah, I like it. Let's roll with it. How do you turn that dream into something tangible? You have to have a structured goal. You have to have some methods in place. You cannot. And here's the thing. If it doesn't work, try something else. Don't change the goal, change the method. A lot of times people get that first road bump, or they get rejected, or they get something, or whatever it is that's very discouraging, and they give up the whole thing. No. You don't do that. Just like you wouldn't do that for your company. You would try 15 different methods for someone else's company and whatever. You're going to have to do that for your own stuff. When you hit that road bump, keep pushing, change the method. So that's kind of the goal, the pretty much like the founding steps that I always say. Great. Dreams are awesome. If you don't have a dream, I'm going to need you to just go to sleep, wake up in the morning. What is it that you want to do? Everyone should want to do something. And if you don't, I'm questioning your your presence in this world. And your dream could just be to be an awesome mom, or it could be to take your kids on a vacation, or it could be to fix some fancy meal that you had in a restaurant, whatever. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to go be president of the United States. And even that, what are you doing? You never just start off today to be president. You've had 4 years of this, 4 years of that, local government, whatever. So there's things you have to put in place to get to that dream. And then making it a priority.
All of that is so true. And you'd be surprised, or you being in this field, maybe you wouldn't know, but a lot of people don't dream anymore. They get lost in all of the expectations of other people. They don't even know what they want anymore. So I think it's important to just have that time where you sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do I want today, tomorrow, for my life? Like you mentioned, for your legacy, how do you want to be remembered when you pass away? All of these are really important things to think about in the long run. So thank you for sharing that with us. Now, I have a question that I got to ask all of my guests, okay? So if you are new to the First Class Life show, then let me tell you that First Class Life is actually an acronym for all of the different characteristics and skills that you want to embody into your lifestyle so that you can create a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, okay? Now, I'm not going to go through all of those right here, right now. If you want to find out what that acronym stands for, then there's two things that you can do. You can either, one, go all the way back and listen to the very first episode of the First Class Life show, or two, you can just buy the book, First Class Life, 10 Key Factors to Creating a Life Full of Purpose, Fulfillment, and Happiness. You can buy that book at firstclasslifeshop.com. Meanwhile, we are going to ask our very beautiful guest, Miss Holly Cotton. All right, which key factor do you resonate with the most?
I think that the key factor that I resonate with the most is intentional. Everything that I do is intentional. Like I mean, I'm not super serious where I can like have a good time or I don't do normal things. But when it comes to my life and my goals and things that I want to do, I get so serious. Like when I get in the zone, like I am in the zone. And it's just it. So everything has to be about the zone, so whatever it is, whatever I'm working on, it has to be aligning with what I'm doing, in that part. Like even now, like if it's not about my podcast show, if it's not about my brand, if it's not about doing stuff, like I cannot allow any energy to be wasted on foolery. It has to be part of my master plan. And I'm sorry, but you don't make the cut. But I just cannot allow that to come in and steal focus that I could put on something that actually is going to, have great payback at some point. So definitely intentional is what my letter would be in the acronym.
Yes, and we even talked about making those intentional decisions earlier already. So spot on. Now, let us know, how do you serve the world out here? How can, if we need your services, what do you have?
Well, obviously, like I said, I have a book that I wrote called Strong More Than Muscles, and I actually have tons of cancer survivors, cancer patients that have read that book. It's not a book about cancer. It's a book about defining your strong. And I have it because, I realized when I was going through my cancer journey that being physically strong was not saving me the way that I needed it to. So how do you define your purpose in order to become the strongest version of yourself inside and out? So I have that, and I have, my other book, Day One, like I said, a little snip of kind of the things that I've talked about, mindset, proximity, how to define your goals. I have an e-course that goes with that as well. If you don't want to read an actual book, I have an interactive e-course that has the same content. You can take the e-course and learn some stuff, answer some questions. I have a company called Strong Squad. We sell strong apparel. We do tons of community service events. Every month I do something, give back, donation. It might just be, going out. We do try to have community events here in Houston, but we always give back. So that's a big thing for me too, because I like to stay humble. I realize how fragile life can be, especially being a nurse, and seeing people's lives just taken away way too soon and leaving, families scrambling and things like that. So your life can be changed in an instant, so I always try to give back. I remain humble. I have tons of fitness videos on my Instagram page, if you're interested in that as well, because I mean, that's kind of, my big thing is fitness and health. And so I try to post stuff on there, workout stuff, just kind of inspire people. I love whenever I get men, in my DMs, like, oh my God, like you make me want to go hard, or you make me feel like I'm not working out, and I'm like, thank you. I'm just, so, I mean, I have all of that. And then, of course, I have a podcast with Ebony. So that's a big thing. I do a lot of stuff. I cover all types of topics on that. I do health and wellness topics. I do, mental health, sexual health, just, of course, fitness and nutrition. So that's kind of like my way of just giving back, is by sharing all the knowledge that I have. I'm also a college professor, so for me, teaching and education is like really, really important, and it comes so naturally. So, I have a lot of little faucets in my life. So hopefully I'm giving back in one of them. I love when my students come and they're like, oh my God, Miss Cotton, like, oh, like they want to tell me what they're doing in life and things like that. So, I just try to be the best version of myself, and that's my way of giving back.
Listen, and can we say full circle, because you mentioned being the onion, right? And having all the different layers. So how can we reach you on these internet streets?
One, you can find me on Instagram, Holly Cotton _ HOLLYCOTTON _. I'm on Facebook, Holly Cotton. I'm on TikTok, Holly Cotton _. My book is available on all platforms. Both of my books are globally distributed. So I'm anywhere where you buy books, not just Amazon. You can go Barnes and Nobles, Books A Million, Walmart, Target, wherever you shop, you can get one of my books, Holly Cotton. And also my website is defineyourstrong.com. And you can also get apparel, Strong Squad stuff. I have a meal plan that can help you on track if you're looking to lose weight. And also my books and fitness accessories are on there also.
All right, make sure y'all reach out to the lovely Holly Cotton so that you can be supported in that way. And listen, this has been just a great show per usual, right? Now, Holly, do you have any final advice for the First Class family on how to create your first class?
I honestly, the biggest piece of advice that I give to everyone is, I said it before, but realizing that it's okay to make yourself a priority is so important to just your life in general. To having success, to having health, to having happiness. Make yourself a priority and allow yourself to be a priority. It's very, very important. You deserve to win. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be happy. So never question or doubt that you deserve that, and make yourself a priority the way that you make sure everyone else is good. You need to make sure you're good also.
Yes. All right. Prioritize yourself, family. Prioritize. Okay. So thank you. We know that you can be doing anything else in the world, but you have spent your time here tuned in with us, myself, Lindsay Vertner, your host, and our lovely guest, the Holly Cotton. So we don't take that lightly. Thank you for just being willing to pour into yourself and allowing us to pour into you on this episode of the First Class Life Show. Meanwhile, keep going out there, you high-achieving leader, and maximizing your impact and creating your first-class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Until next time, see you later. Bye.
Do you want to be surrounded by other high-achieving women who are working on their goals just like you? Are you looking for your circle that's passionate about their own growth yet still wants to see you shine? Do you desire to be supported through collaborations and connections instead of competition? Then Cowork and Chill is your place to be. Cowork and Chill is a hybrid of virtual co-working and virtual networking. It's a community of women who are striving to build living legacies. This is the space to create meaningful relationships with other equally yoked women where you're being poured into just as much as you pour out. So if you're looking for your crew for supportive accountability, then sign up today at coworkandchill.com. That's COWORKANDCHILL, coworkandchill.com. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But please be sure to subscribe to the First Class Life Show. And don't forget to rate, leave a review, and join our private community so that we can continue to provide you with great personal development conversations to help you maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. You deserve it.